The moment we've all been waiting for has finally arrived. Yesterday, Austin and Catherine held their first ever carnival, the Ace Fest. We've been talking about this Ace Fest for months now, and there's been a lot of debate over whether or not it would be a mess. You guys know Austin and Catherine don't have the best track record when it comes to things like this, so my expectations were low, like TanaCon low. I actually thought it would end up being cancelled. A few days ago, the Ace family posted a video saying Catherine had hurt her back on vacation and she was literally using a walker. With the Ace Fest only being a few days away, I thought for sure that was them gearing up to announce the cancellation. Everything just seemed so rushed to me. They only had a few months to plan the event. Austin had a boxing event only a few weeks later. They didn't sell out and it was gonna be hot out. Like, this event was happening in the middle of the desert. Austin tried to say that it was in Los Angeles, but it was actually an hour away in Lancaster. Austin was still trying to get rid of tickets only a day before the event. He posted on his Instagram story, "For all my friends and family, hit me up. I got passes for y'all. Even if we haven't talked in a while, it's all good, I got you." Doesn't sound like an event that sold out like they tried to claim a few months ago. Then, the day before the event was set to start, they posted a video titled, "It's Cancelled, Can't Believe It." Of course, it was complete clickbait. Austin played a prank on Catherine, saying the fire department was making them cancel because it was too hot, which honestly might not have been a bad idea, but we'll get into that soon. In this same video, Austin had a little message for drama channels.
So real quick, for the people that said that our festival was a scam or that it wasn't happening, you guys can donut, okay, because it's happening.
Just because the event is happening doesn't mean it's not a scam. There's so many factors that play into whether or not something's a scam, so let's talk about Miss Ace Fest and I'll let you guys be the judge. Before we get into everything, let me just remind you guys that this event was advertised as Disneyland meets Coachella. That's two pretty big names to live up to, so let's see if the Ace Fest was true to its description. Yeah. The only thing giving Disneyland was the prices, and the only thing Coachella about the Ace Fest was everyone melting in the desert heat. I will give it to the Ace family because they actually did have more than one attraction. They had a bunch of different rides for kids and games, and they were all included in the ticket fee. They love to try and call the games and rides free, but I would hope so when you're paying over $100 for one ticket. Luckily for us, a ton of drama YouTubers attended, like Atozy, Spillsash, Def Noodles, Swell Entertainment. So thank you to them for actually going and getting us the real tea, because some of it was a mess. Atozy did a stream, and at one point, the wind knocked down this huge attraction stand, and it looked really bad. Can you imagine if there was a kid standing under there? I know it's not like the Ace family can control the wind, but come on. Make sure everything is actually secure, especially when it's a windy day and you know you're gonna have a bunch of little kids running around. Atozy was filming himself going on a bunch of rides, and it looked so dead. It honestly looked like your typical state fair. You know, the local fair that goes from town to town and costs maybe like $10 to get into? Yeah. But somehow Austin and Catherine justified over $100 per person. For $100, you can usually get a season pass to most established amusement parks, and for only $76, you can get into the real Disneyland. The Ace Fest just looked really depressing. Most of the rides were empty or half filled. Even the game seemed so poorly organized.
If you do want to play a game, it's free, but if you do win a prize, you have to exchange your ticket. So they gave me like one ticket, and that was only good for the fucking lanyard. So I was like, nah, I don't want the lanyard, I'm just gonna keep my ticket.
The reason the games were free were probably because the prizes were old, outdated merch that never sold. Most of it was unsold winter merch like scarves and Christmas decorations and all the unwanted crap that they couldn't sell.
By the way, did I mention that I won a scarf? I threw a ball, I hit a balloon that had Gibbs' face on it, and they gave me a scarf. It's 110 degrees outside, I clearly need it.
The most popular part of the whole event was definitely the meet and greet. I think a huge reason why the rides and games seemed so empty was because everyone was lined up in the sun to meet Austin and Catherine. These poor parents were lined up with their kids standing in one spot for hours with the sun beating down on them. Luckily for the Ace family, they were under a shelter and had shade, but the poor people in line had nothing. Eventually, they did move everyone inside, which was way better, but they probably should have planned that from the start. Just think. Anyone who was in that meet and greet line had to get a VIP pass, which is like $500. Imagine paying that much money just to sit in the sun all day long. The biggest complaint that everyone seemed to have was how hot it was outside. I mean, people were literally sitting in the bathroom just to catch a breeze from the big fan that they had in there.
So there's hardly any toilet paper. There is a line for the women's bathroom, and it is hot in the bathroom as well, so that's why you saw that big ass fan.
Now let's talk about the things that the Ace family promised but never delivered on. The first thing was the parking. Austin told everyone that the parking was free for ticket holders.
Not only that, you get great parking, free parking.
But it wasn't. You had to pay $10 for parking, which is pretty ridiculous considering how expensive the event already was.
All right, I just pulled up to Ace Fest and they're making us pay for parking, and they said it was free.
Yeah.
You can see right here, it says Ace Fest / Soul Fest, $10. And here's our time that we arrived. Everything's right here. Can't believe that.
There's also been this huge debate over the food trucks. A lot of people swear that they heard Austin say that the food was included in the ticket price, but the food was definitely not free. A lot of it was actually pretty expensive, and you can imagine the shock people had when they found out most of the places only took cash.
I paid $8 for this lemonade, this souvenir cup, and you can get free refills. It's supposed to be agua frescas, but it's not aguas frescas. It's that powder that you just mix with water that has like flavor, and it's also watered down.
Personally, I never heard the Ace family say anything about free food. I'm gonna guess someone probably thought they heard that and then it got passed around and all these people were left thinking that food was included. I mean, it probably should have been for the amount these people paid, but that would dilute Austin's profits and I don't think he wants that. Now, this next thing is actually pretty huge and it seems like false advertising. When the Ace Fest was first announced, the website said, access to free rides, free games, free prizes, a wildlife park, and live performers. After tickets went on sale, the website changed to just say free rides, free games, and free prizes. They dropped the wildlife park and the performers without mentioning anything. Now, come time for the Ace Fest, there was no wildlife park or performers in sight. The closest thing that they had to a performer was a DJ playing music and sometimes shouting into the microphone. Now, I'm definitely not complaining about them not having a wildlife park. Personally, I think it's amazing that they didn't have that. I don't even want to picture the stress that these animals could have been in with the heat and the noise and the people, but still, how can you advertise something, sell tickets for it, and then just not have it and never say anything? If they hadn't addressed it and put a notice on their site and been like, hey guys, we decided not to have these two things. If you want a refund, that's fine. But they didn't. They said no refunds. Now let's talk about the drama that happened. As I said earlier, a lot of YouTubers attended the Ace Fest. H3 sent some of his crew, Def Noodles was there, Spilly, Swell Entertainment. Well, Rich Lux and Mad Catster tried to get in, and they were kicked out.
That's a whole different story. It's a North Soul Festival. It is also back there, but you cannot enter that premises. It's said so by me. I am the manager for security. My name is on my badge, security identified. No problem. Ready? I'm just working on the works.
Are they with you?
Yes, everyone. I don't know who these guys are. They're media, I guess. You can ask them. Yeah.
The interaction was so weird. Austin's team was filming them and they were really trying to get a reaction from them. They asked them what they do, and Rich told them that they both do internet gossip, and they said maybe that's the reason you're being kicked out, because you on people.
What are you with? What media you with? Rich Luck, we just got kicked out of Ace Fest.
Oh yeah?
We got 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
I wonder why.
This is Macleod.
Yeah.
And security told us that we gotta leave.
I mean, I wonder why you guys got kicked out.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I mean, I guess all that internet stuff you guys do, right? What do you guys do? It might have something to do with
celebrity
that.
news, gossip.
Oh, that's bad. Oh, it's
TMZ.
just gossip. Oh, okay. Maybe shitting on people. That's what it is, right?
See you later.
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you. Shitting on people for no reason?
Yeah. All right.
Rich and Matt Catster didn't give in to them, and they just walked away, and Austin's team shouted at them and said they were doing the walk of shame.
The name calling of their videographers, and at one point he said as I was walking away, and you'll hear it, you're doing the walk of shame. And I turned around and went, I'm not ashamed. Are you ashamed? It's like, what do I have to be ashamed about? I'm not ashamed. Are you ashamed? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Matt Catster has been doing videos on the Ace family, but he bought a ticket and he has every right to be there. Everything he talks about regarding the Ace family is stuff every other YouTuber who was at the Ace Fest has covered. For some reason, they really didn't want Rich or Matt Catster in there. They said that they flew in just for the event, they spent thousands of dollars on hotels, car rentals, plane tickets, just to be kicked out and never even get in. They weren't even offered a refund for their ticket. At the ticket booth, they had this sign that said they had the right to refuse anyone they wanted to, but imagine refusing someone because you don't like their job. Could you imagine going to Disneyland or Coachella and being refused entry because you cover internet gossip? No event in the world would get away with that, especially since they didn't even offer them a refund. Now, one person who did get in was Deaf Noodles. Dennis made his way to the long meet and greet line, stood in it for hours, and live streamed himself asking Austin for advice on how to scam.
No, but that's Instagram though. Yeah. Can we take Instagram? Instagram live? Alright. Oh yeah, I love it. So I want to ask you some advice. How do I learn to scam is pretty new?
He didn't come to be funny.
I'm for real. Come on, let's have I'm a fan. Come on, let's have No, for real. Come on, let's have
The last thing that caused a huge drama was the end of the meet and greet. A lot of families were spending their entire day in a line to meet the Ace family and get their signed poster. A lot of the rides and games started to look bare because everyone who was there and spent like $500 on a meet and greet wasn't gonna let it go to waste. Austin actually put out an Instagram story and told people to leave the line, go get something to eat, and come back when it's less busy.
So Bebe and I are taking a little break, eating some food. We want to say one thing. For those people who are waiting in the meet and greet line, you guys have all day to meet us. So if you're sitting there waiting for hours and hours, we highly recommend you guys go on rides, play games, eat food, because it is very hot out here. Please stay hydrated. It's burning up. And we want all you guys to be safe. So again, if you wait in the line for hours, you can always come back when the line is shorter and meet us. We're gonna be here till 10 p.m. We love you guys so much. We can't wait to meet you guys.
He was basically assuring people that they would stand there and meet everyone until close. In fact, it was actually guaranteed. Well, an hour and a half before close, the security stopped letting people back in. These people did what Austin said, left the line, came back, and they were pretty much told too bad.
All right, they are officially not letting anyone else in to meet them. Some people are pissed because they were told they were allowed to leave to the bathroom, and they're not being let in because they're saying there's a hard time to stop. However, no one made that very clear, as in that was not made clear at all. So yeah, they're not letting anyone else in. So sorry guys, I do not get to meet the Ace family. They're also saying they have to go home. So I'm wondering if they think that the line that they have in there is going to be in there till 10, or if they're not going to stick around till 10. So yeah. people are gonna be pissed. Should I just hang around here and wait for people to be pissed? Should I just wait?
I know that they've been standing there all day, but when you're making $500 per VIP pass, you stand there and you meet every last person. The fact that Austin was the one that actually told people to go away and not to worry, and then they just shut it down, it almost feels planned. It's like he told people to get out of line so the line would get shorter and just let security deal with the angry people. I just feel really bad for the kids who probably kept the meet and greet for last. The meet and greet included a signed poster, so I bet a lot of parents wanted to do the rides and games first and then circle back and do the meet and greet at the end of the day. I'm gonna go ahead and guess there were probably a lot of unhappy people. Finally, let's talk about some good things that happened. I will say, I don't think the event can be classified as a total TanaCon. They had water, they did have a few rides and games, and they were included in the ticket price, which is all great. If tickets were under $50 and that included a meet and greet, I would say that Ace Fest was probably worth it. The problem I have is that it was $100, and I think the Ace family totally exaggerated what the Ace Fest would be. Calling it Disneyland meets Coachella, using stolen footage of a fair that wasn't even theirs to try and push their ticket sales, promising things that they couldn't deliver on, that's the issue that I have. If they hadn't just said, we're having a meet and greet and there'll probably be some rides and games, that would have been fine. But trying to make it out to be a bigger deal than it really was is what leads people to be disappointed. Hopefully next time they do an event like this, they learn to not oversell a dream. Not everything has to be bigger and better than everything else. It's okay to have a small scale country-like fair. You don't have to be the next Disneyland or Coachella. Huge promises that you can't deliver on just lead to disappointment, and Austin needs to learn that. Anyways guys, let me know what you think about everything down below. How do you think the Ace Fest turned out? Were you expecting more? Were you expecting less? Let me know, and I'll see you next time.